We're doing an auction, a live auction, ladies and gentlemen. And even if you're not bidding on anything, it's so worth it to watch the amazing pipes of Joe Bodnar. Give it up for Joe.
Welcome to Bodnars, Bids, and Banter. I'm your host, Joe Bodnar.
Maureen.
And we have a special guest on the other side of town, or 3 towns over, the one and only Mike Zapcic.
Nope.
Damn!
Never.
Never.
I'd
never.
Never.
It is Mike
Zapcic.
Zapcic. There's no dick in there. Holy God.
Hey, listen, I think this is our ongoing spiel. You know, like how there's always these comedy scenes with Laurel and Hardy, and I you know, it's me and Mike. It's Mike.
This is your Who's On First.
Yeah, this is my Who's On First.
Zapcic.
Zapcic.
He makes
Did I get it right?
Zapcic.
Zapcic.
Yep.
No, Zapcic. Sick. For a guy who has the same heritage as me.
Right.
Right over your head.
No. He makes me introduce myself because he doesn't know what my name is. He calls me Hun. He has no clue that my name is Maureen. Don't tell him.
It's not Maureen?
No.
Well, at any rate, we have the one and only great Mike Zapcic. Did I get it right? Hallelujah.
We're going to say close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
You are a legend, a TV star, a podcaster. I was reading your Wikipedia today, and you are on Comic Book Men, and he's always over there at the Secret Stash.
Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Was that a good enough intro for you, sir?
That's fantastic. I'm here now, so I'm in the bowels.
Exactly. You're like partially living there. You probably kind of do live at the store.
A little bit, yeah. So, but it's a fun place, and you both know as well as I do. You got to do what you love.
Absolutely.
100%.
No, absolutely. So, backstory, you know, I met Mike, actually we both met Mike from working on Comic Book Men with a TV show, and he came and had a scavenger hunt at the auction, and he found some treasures, and I don't think he won that one. Did you win that competition?
On the TV show, we did not win.
You did not win on that one, right?
No, because it
was rigged. I know
it was rigged. It was rigged against us,
bastards.
But then we did.
It is what it is.
We did. But then you had to get married, I believe, to Ming or something like that at that moment, right?
Yes, that is not a. It's not a lawful union, thank God. So,
did you get alimony out of the deal, or at least did you get to take his comic book collection into divorce?
No, oh my God, I wouldn't want it either. So, oh my, worst taste in comic books ever.
Oh, there you have it.
And alimony, I can't spend. You know, no, I'm not going there.
I got it. So at any rate. Met him then we did 2 other episodes with Comic Book Men. Actually,
yes.
It was one for an auction of the comic book art for that Esposito collection. I guess it was, right?
Esposito, yes, very good. And we also did, if I'm not mistaken, the Gary Kahn over.
Right. So there was 3 times that we played together on the Comic Book Men, and then every Christmas I would show up with a bottle of champagne, which now I know you don't drink, but that's okay. I don't really drink either.
Hey, I mean, how about you own with that? So it was great.
Well, that's all right. Because by me giving you a bottle of champagne, you probably gifted it to somebody else. I
should have re-gifted it. I didn't, but I should have.
Yeah, right? You could have sold it.
With champagne. I mean, I like cooking with wine. I can cook with alcohol as long as I burn it off.
Right.
Yeah.
So our we would meet on Christmas, and then you would recommend some deals, and then we basically established a relationship with the Secret Stash over there, and now consistently, I guess it's been almost a year and a half that you've been really organizing the comics for us here at the auction. Yes,
you had an opening, and you know I had an extra day because I have 8 days in my week. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't know where you find the time to do all this stuff.
I got 9 days. I don't know.
Good for you. So and it's one of those things that you do what you love, and I throw these people at you. And this our upcoming auction, I did want to just throw this out there, is one that I promised. It was one of my reservists who I had introduced to you.
Right.
And he moved over to the West Coast.
Yeah, I think he went to Seattle or something like that. Yeah.
To Oregon. So he was like, I can't bring these with me. And so what can you do? And because he wanted to sell them to the stash. I'm like, oh, no. You told me there's 144 long boxes.
Yeah, there's a lot of long boxes.
And I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm not going to say the gentleman's name, but longtime reservist here. He became a good friend of mine, and I promised him that I would shepherd his collection to auction. So that was one of my deals with him. So that's, so we would go with you. And this is an impressive collection, and we're going to probably make it into 2 sales.
The way things are going, yes, I know. I can't ask you to come in any more Saturdays, Sunday. What's the 8th day of the week?
Yeah.
Samara Day.
Yeah, it's Snaz Day.
Snaz Day. There you go.
Snaz Day.
But yes, I think that out of all honesty, it's going to get cut down to 2 sales. I mean, there's no other way of approaching it. I mean, we've approached 220 lots, 230 lots with what's accomplished. We have one more day of cataloging, but when you see this, it'll be up online already when you see this podcast. Okay. But it's definitely going to be 2 sales because we probably have about another 30 long boxes to get through to complete the collection. And I just maybe 40. Actually, it's so funny when you finished the other day and you said, "Oh, this pile's done." I thought the whole pile was done, but there was another pile behind it that was still not done. And I went, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. You're like, "Oh my God, that guy's incredibly fast." And I'm like, "I'm good, Joe. You get what is the saying? You get it. You can have it fast. You can have it good, or you can have it cheap.
Yeah,
Only get 2 of them."
I guess so.
2
but yeah,
2.
Well, the collection, I think what's nice about the collection is that that we're selling next week, it kind of has all genres in there, meaning there's I believe there's Silver Age and newer and modern, right? Is that you should tell it, because I don't know what's there. You looked at them all. I did not.
Oh, and I haven't even seen all of them.
Right.
I haven't looked at all of them. I'm like, oh my God. I forgot that there's, he's got them all alphabetized, and I'm like, there's letters I haven't seen. What is an omega? Oh my God, he's got an omega. Oh man, no, nobody has an omega anywhere. It's
right.
A through Z, and then an omega. I'm like, all right, these have got to be the really good ones.
Right. Well, what I found interesting, because just the other day, and it's almost like finding things under the Christmas tree, because like he found a box, I think just a couple of days ago. It looks like there was a bunch of X-Men that you pulled out and were in small little group lots, correct?
Oh yeah. That was that's a very special section of his collection. He collected from way back when. I think his earliest was number 20, but there are ones that. He's got a run of the Neil Adams X-Men, which is really cool. The first Polaris. He's got a giant size number 1 in there, giant size number 2 as well. But that's like the redheaded stepchild. No offense, Maureen. I know about redhead.
I am a redheaded stepchild. I am.
I guess you are.
I am.
That's actually a true statement.
I've heard that my whole life.
Really?
I have.
You need us to go and kick some ass for you, Maureen?
That's it. Let's go. Let's get in the
car.
car.
We're there. I'm there.
Let's go.
I've got the shovel in the trunk of my car. We're good to go.
Right.
Let's go.
So so the collection spans like a good genre of years there of I'd say 60 years, 70 years.
Least. Yeah. He's been collecting for a long time. And the nice thing about this is there's not much that he didn't collect.
Right.
So there's something for everybody in here.
And when I thought about when I first when I met them at where it was at, it was actually the gentleman had a warehouse because I guess it was his business where he had them when he was trying to dispose of them. And it was like, it went the length of this building, this commercial building. They were just all lined up. It was like pretty impressive to see. It was like, holy shit, it's like huge, right? It was unbelievable.
This was not you could fit an airplane in that.
Yes.
It was like an airplane hangar. I was like, oh my God, this is so damn impressive. 144 long boxes stretched end to end.
Right.
So that would have intimidated the heck out of me.
Oh, you know what? I looked at that was like, I did not want to pick it up and carry it.
Yeah.
That's why you have people, Joe.
Yeah, no, I get it. I was looking at that going, I don't want to pick that up. And it worked out. He was able to deliver it to me. I said, thank goodness. Because, these days of carrying the collection that we just sold prior, we picked that up. And I told myself, I'm never picking up a large collection like that. Moving company needs to go get it. I don't want to do it,
Can we talk about the last collection we picked up?
Sure. Absolutely.
This is going to be like 2 down the road. Huge, a lot of statuary. Very cool. Just a little teaser.
I see what you did. The one coming, his stuff, So
and the hardcovers.
Yeah, no. So what you're talking about is the collection that we just picked up that is going to be sold. I slated it for October, is what it's looking like right now. So and his comic books will probably come before some other comic book because his comic books are all hardcover comic books. So it's like a different type of genre, really, in my opinion.
Yeah. This is an easier sale because they're all bound together.
Exactly. So. But his collection was beautifully all laid out. And
I wish every person that we picked up from could be even a quarter as organized as he was.
It was fantastic, but it was really hot in that house. It was. So.
It was a warm day. That was like one of the first warm days that we had in a long time on that pickup day. But so this house, when you went in, the gentleman collected them. And what was nice is that it was all displayed. So he had tons of Marvel statues, tons of DC statues, tons of autographs framed and production cells, Batman cells, and Looney Tune stuff, and then wall to wall hardcover comics and anything else you could think that's comic related, and it was laid out beautifully. And what the benefit was so you didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it.
Me and Mike went down, and it was all displayed. Yeah. It was displayed in about 3 different places in the house. But by the time we got there, he got all the boxes down and then put all the pieces,
everything
all the pieces on the boxes. And Mike came down and helped. You came and helped him put them back in the boxes.
Yes, and which is weird because that's like a tutorial on YouTube in and of itself.
You need an engine. Yeah,
putting it in this way, and you have to like get it right at that angle.
Yes,
I'm like, and if you mess up just once, like that thing is done.
Yep, it's toast. No, you need an engineering degree to put them back.
No, you really do. But we knocked that out quick. The crew, our crew, we went in and we got that inventoried, repacked, boxed up, put on the truck. 4 hours, I guess it took us, maybe 5 at the most.
You guys have got the best in the business working for you. So
well, thank you. Yeah, no, we do. Everyone, we all know our jobs, and we all go in and have our set ways of this one's numbering, this one's packing, this one's carrying. I'm loading the truck.
Well, we normally have that.
Yeah, yes.
I didn't. The only one I had of the old crew who used to do that was Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey was the only one.
Scary to think about that Jeffrey was the one who knew exactly what I was doing.
Yes.
The other ones were running around doing a little of this, a little of that, I'm like.
They were having ADHD in the house.
Oh, they really did.
They were spewing.
That house was amazing. It's like so much to look at. Like it was literally the worst possible place you could be if you were like shiny squirrel, shiny.
It was.
You didn't know which way to look because he had so much stuff.
He did, and then he had that cool Eleanor Roosevelt collection.
Yes, that's a really cool collection.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, no, Eleanor Roosevelt. He had like autographs and signatures and letters.
Yep. Books.
and books, and then on top of that, he had a collection of telephones, which I thought were really cool. You know, like old school rotary dials and like
The princess phones, they call them.
yeah,
Princess phones.
and he had different multiple colors of mid-century modern phones that were pretty neat. And then, really, he had a beautiful Matchbox car collection that they're all in pristine condition in the box. That's going to be in a different sale that we have coming up in July, because that we split off into like die-cast cars and stuff. But those were beautiful. Yeah, no, 2 boxes full of Matchbox cars that were older Matchbox from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s that are mint in the box, absolutely pristine condition.
That's fantastic. So
that's coming up in that collection, and that is going to be really. I personally prefer to hardcover comics. I guess, but there again, I don't really have a comic book collection. But if I was to collect, I would collect the hardcovers because I just feel I don't know. I'm into a hardcover. I guess because I could drum on the hardcover. You know. I know that's a terrible reason.
Weird reason.
You could drum on there. How about this? They present well.
Well, they do present well. But, I was just thinking because, yesterday I was teaching Maddie the timpanis, so I got 3 hardcover books down, not comic books, but 3 hardcover books off my off my bookshelf. And they were reference books, and I put them on there, and we were playing in them, and I was like, I forgot how much I like to drum on a hardcover book because it has a good bounce rhythm on it. I know that sounds stupid, but it's true.
Not at all. There's so much that I think is genius in what you just said. Having hardcover books, so key in our world.
Right.
People are so used to having everything on one of these or one of these, our computers. We're so hooked in that we forget. Like you went on my Wikipedia page, and you can go in there. Anyone can go in there and edit it. And I can't wait to see what pops up on my Wikipedia page next, because I've had some really weird and horrible stuff on there.
Right.
So
kidding.
and I went in and re-edited, but it's really, if you have it like on a piece of paper, on a page, in a hardcover book, it gives it concrete stability. You're like, this is true. Like my wife, and you both met her. Christian knows her. Julia,
Love her.
Thank you. Me too. Hence me marrying her. So she went out and she actively sought out a complete World Book Encyclopedia from 1965 set.
That's cool, right?
It's very cool, and it's in our house now, and it came with everything. They had even the bookcase that was your add-on if you bought like one of these.
No, I remember absolutely. I think my father has the set still too. Oh, you're reading his Wikipedia?
I'm looking at your Wikipedia page right now. I'm like,
Weird,
I like
right?
the picture of him on his Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You look a bit younger there.
I was dyeing I actually dyed my hair for 3 seasons. Yes, 3 seasons of Comic Book Men.
Right.
The last 3 I didn't.
Right.
My hair's been going gray for a very long time, since I was about 35.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
got you beat.
I was like 18.
18. Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I
it
dye mine.
accelerated when I had kids. Weird.
Exactly.
And I was dyeing it, and there was one stupid, funny story. They used to have a file. They called it Elvis Zapcic, where my hair got too dark. I had dyed it too dark. And they put it all in this file that was Elvis Zapcic. I'm like, okay, all right. Making fun of me for that. And Johnson used to make fun of me all the time. He's like, why are you dyeing your hair?
Right.
After a while, I was like, why the hell am I? Because it didn't make any sense. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Season 5 or 6. No, I think it was season 6. I was just like, to hell with it. And I've got this like mop of gray hair, and people like, wow, that is really a bold statement. I'm like, It's my hair.
Right.
It's not a statement.
It's not a statement. It's just growing out of my head.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was like, whatever. But, yeah, I like the gray.
Right. But the encyclopedias, I think my father still has encyclopedias at the house. He doesn't get rid of anything.
No, he doesn't.
So I'm sure they're still kicking there, and they're all leather bound, and they probably paid like $50 a volume or $100 a volume. It probably cost them like $5,000 for the encyclopedias back in the 80s.
That hurts to think about.
But I remember using them as a kid. That was what you did. You would kind of go in there and reference it, and then it would take you to maybe another book or whatever. I remember those days, with the encyclopedias. And I had a junior encyclopedia too that were red covers, and it was like for kids. I had that too.
I had the Peanuts encyclopedia.
I love that.
Food Town, or was it Acme? Might have been Acme.
Right, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, they had it's like, hey, guess what? A is for something. And,
I do remember. I think I had that too as a kid. I might have it. I still probably have it. I'm not a hoarder.
Sure.
No, I'm not. But I think I might have that. I still have all my things at my father's house. Everything from when I was a kid, even even preschool shit.
That's perfect. So this way you're not a hoarder, but he is.
That's right. So my first 2 centuries, or I guess not centuries, first 2 decades would be 10 years. My first 2 decades are still at my parents' house, and then our decades here, and then
what happened to the decade in the middle in between?
The ex got all that.
She threw it all out. She actually sold it.
She sold it all.
Did she go through you to sell it though?
Yes.
Actually, she did on a couple of things. Yes,
she did.
That's pretty fucked up, right?
You're like, I'm selling my soul right here. Here we go.
Yeah, the massage chair was one of them, right?
Yep.
She got the massage chair in a divorce, and then asked me to sell it for her.
And then there used to be. What did we do with that painting on the wall?
I don't know. There was a painting I wanted too. That's
and we had
right.
To buy
I forget
it
which one
auction.
that was, but she had me sell it, and then I think I bought it at the auction. And did I? Yeah.
I think you finally got rid of it because you said, I'm tired of looking at it.
No, I didn't sell it for $10. I'm not like that. But you sure as hell wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? Sold, $5, sold. But
wow,
yeah, no, she did ask me to sell some stuff.
You're like judging me because I would have been like, that's $4. $4 sold.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. But yeah, the audacity when you think about that. I know. I didn't even think about that. I ended up selling stuff that I owned and bought it back.
You're a much better man than I am because I'm assuming this was years ago.
Yeah. About 11 years ago.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
All right, so a decade ago plus. And now it's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Wait, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, I would have been still fuming. That's the Irish in me. I'm like, son of a...
Oh, don't get me wrong. I still don't like to talk to her.
I'm still fuming to this day.
I have to talk to her because of the kids, but if there were...
He's way more forgiving.
I am more
so forgiving.
Yes.
And then there'll be times where he's like, well, but everything's so good. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not good.
I try not to think about it, but then I get I don't want to get my blood boiling because I become like the Incredible Hulk. You won't like me when I'm angry.
But
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
The reality is us Irish people can hold. We're like elephants with the memories. Like
amazing, isn't it, Maureen?
Hold on to that. Like he'll be like, "No, everything's fine. I don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "On December 2nd of 2016."
Well, and Mike, you're right. I was just say I don't really get angry. I can only think of like a couple times where I totally lost it.
You told me to go fuck myself.
Once I told you to go fuck yourself. Yeah, that was one time in a decade. That's pretty damn good.
You have told me more than once.
Okay, maybe twice.
Okay.
So that's 2 times in a decade, I guess. Yeah, but the
Christian,
one time
feeling real comfortable there.
Yeah, but
Hey, do a mom and dad fight.
But I told you to go fuck yourself. But you know what? It was you pushed me in the right direction.
I did because I was
grateful.
right. Because I was right.
You were right. That was an unsettling moment where somebody gave us some stuff and they wanted it back, and you told me to. Yeah, you could tell this story.
So
that's fine.
this lunatic, not even a person.
Yeah,
she was a lunatic. We go to this house down in South Jersey.
Yeah, it was down by your area, down Red Bank area. It was actually like probably 5 minutes from your store. It was down in Red Bank. Yes.
So The landlord had all this furniture in the house that the old tenant they had to have evicted left behind. Judge had given this woman extension after extension after extension to get her stuff out. She didn't do it. So finally the judge says you have full permission to sell it to recoup costs, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Great stuff. Great furniture.
Yeah, it was
you
nice
know?
stuff. Yep.
I mean, old, antique, great stuff. So we go in that day. We're moving everything out. The woman shows up. She
showed up with the cops, too.
She showed up with the cops.
She showed up with the cops.
She's acting a fool. She's outside causing a scene.
She was causing a scene.
I'll never forget this day because
right.
not only did she cause a scene, and Tommy, I will say, Tommy, for all the hard times I give him, did try to protect me in certain situations, and he was like, just stay inside.
And that's a different Tommy, not the Tommy you know.
Not Tom that's
this would be
here now.
Superman Tommy.
Superman
But you know
Tommy.
Superman Tommy because he was the auctioneer when we did Comic Book Men. Yes.
Yeah. So he tells me, just stay inside. I didn't even see what was going on. The woman's taking photos. She's crying. She's screaming. Cops finally tell her, you got to get out of here.
She was screaming, man. A scene.
Yeah.
It was a scene.
Yeah, she was causing a scene.
She brought the cops with her, who told her to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Because she's crazy. She thinks,
She had court orders to get it out, and they gave her extension.
And then she didn't.
And she didn't take it.
So then there was the drunk guy, remember? On that same pickup.
There was a drunk guy.
The drunk guy who tried to get in the back of the trailer.
Oh yeah, there was.
He was like, he almost peed in the back of the trailer.
Yeah, what's wrong with your town, man? There was a
down
drunk
there
guy.
in Red Bank. There was a
I
drunk
just
guy.
rent in here. I own in Long Branch. I rent in Red Bank.
Right, got it. So there was a drunk guy, and he's walking down the street, like laid down on the pads in the back of my truck.
Yeah, he laid in the back of the trailer.
Like,
then
dude,
he tried to pee in the back. And again, Tommy was like, "Do not come outside. Just stay inside.
Yeah,
you don't want to deal with this guy."
That is true. I remember that now. Yes.
So come to sale week. We bring all the stuff in the building. We got everything laid out. Blah blah blah. I'm sitting in the office. We get an email or a phone call or something. A judge had given her another extension.
Yep.
And so she could come get the stuff from us.
Yeah, right before it's on the auction block.
Like 2 days before the sale. And he is just angry. And I said, just call her attorney. He'll handle it.
Yeah,
call George.
We should call it was my divorce attorney.
Yeah,
at the
but I
time.
still said, listen, George was a guy. He knew all the judges. He
did know everybody.
He knew how to get everything done. I said, call George. Just call George. And he's like, stop. I need to think. I'm like, you don't need to think about anything. Just call George.
You seem so calm in that story, and I seem so angry. But go ahead.
Were.
No, it was a heated discussion between the both of them. But go ahead.
Anyway, I kept telling her to call George. Poor Janet's sitting across the table from me,
was
looking
in the
at
room
me.
with us,
and he
yes.
looks at me. He goes, "Why don't you go fuck yourself?"
I did say that, just like
And he
that.
gets up, and I went, "Go fuck myself." You go fuck yourself.
Yes.
Poor Janet was sitting on a rolling chair, and she just slowly rolled herself backwards out of the room. Like one of those, like, don't turn your back to the queen. Like, don't turn your back. Exactly.
Exactly.
Poor Janet. Yeah.
But it turned out it was the right call because
It was the right call.
He wrote up a letter real quick because basically the judge was allowing her to take the stuff, and we're like, well, now we're out our commission, we're out our time,
Storage,
and everything else.
So he wrote this to the judge, and the judge said, okay, fine. So he told her, you can't have it back until you pay their storage fees.
Yes.
You pay this moving. So we came up with a number.
We recouped some money, I guess.
And then she tried to put us off once, and we went right to the judge, and the judge says, for every day you leave it there, it's an extra $100 a day. And she came one time and was like, well, can I? And I was like, get it out of here and get out of my life, or I'm going to burn it. And I don't care. Because he's the nice one. I'm the, like, there's no fool me once.
Yeah.
I will cut you off before you can even do that. But
So that was,
you told me.
that was the
Myself.
go fuck yourself story. Yes,
But I was
guess,
right.
Of course you were. And
She was right, absolutely.
Always right.
I will say this right now. Every time I am wrong, which is quite often, my wife is on the other side saying, I tried to explain this to you.
Mm-hmm. Told you so.
Very and very even keeled, just like Maureen mostly is. Because Joe, you don't lose your shit as much. I do. I'm a little bit more emotional.
Right.
And I'm trying to work on that. We all have our shit, right? So I'm working on being less. And it's so funny because people say, don't take stuff personally. Always do. It just seems personal.
Right.
Yeah, no, I had to learn very quickly doing the podcast. Certain things you can't take personally. You just gotta laugh at.
Right.
You know? People will comment the rudest, most disgusting things, and you just got to go, you know what? That's a reflection of you, not me.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, I'm over here doing the podcast, and you're over in your dark basement typing away, having to say rude things about me to make yourself feel better about yourself. That's sad. That's really sad for you.
That's so. I said "fuck you," and what was the second time? I don't remember.
Not that long ago.
I
We were
know
having
it was
an
recent.
argument.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
it
don't know
was
what
very
was.
recently. Oh yeah, no, yeah, we don't.
It
have
got
to,
heated.
It did get heated, and I said "fuck you," and then I was laughing. I denied it, and we went back to the videotape
Yeah,
because we have a
cameras.
video camera in the living room here, and I was like, oh, I guess I did say it. I was fucked.
Oh, he yelled it. He put every.
But that was both of us having a dispute.
We were, but
we don't have to really dispute very
No,
much.
we don't.
No,
we don't fight often at all.
No,
we don't. We have worked very hard on our communication, and normally can end an argument like that.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
So no,
That's
but
excellent. Me, I just go to grunting mostly. So, and Julia's like, I can't talk to you like when you get like, Captain Caveman. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
She's looking at you going, I don't even know what you're saying to me.
Or use your words. Like, I'm 3, come on.
Right.
Yep.
Do we want pudding? We can't have pudding if you don't. No pudding tonight.
No, I get that. All right, with that, we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, our next upcoming auction is next Wednesday and Thursday, 2-day sale, June 4th and 5th, online at www.Bodnars.auction.com. We have a great, fantastic single-owner comic book collection, and we have a single-owner Funko Pops collection that is very heavily engaged with Marvel and DC Comics as well as pop culture. So make sure you check that out next week, Wednesday, Thursday, June 4th and 5th. Now, back to the show. Hey, and welcome back to the show. All right, Mike. So you've been collecting comics. I'm going to start with what's the first comic book you remember as a kid reading, or what got you into comic books?
The one comic that like really cemented my love for comics. I was always like it didn't matter what comic it was. I had older brothers who collected comics. I always got the hand-downs for toys, for everything.
Right.
My youngest in age, closest to me brother is 5 years older than me. So I got like everything that he chewed through was mine eventually.
Okay.
So most of my brothers, by the time I came along, was able to play with toys, they were done with them. And I got this huge toy box that was filled with broken toys. I mean, don't get me wrong. My parents got me my own toys, but I had this. I was like the beneficiary of this decade and almost a half of like really cool toys. Like I had archaeological evidence of toys that existed, but I didn't know what they were. Like there was like
I like that analogy. That's great.
Hat and a Captain Action gun, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are these from? Because this looks really cool, and I could put it on my GI Joe because GI Joe back then was 13 inches. So I put it on top of that. I'm like, didn't really look good on him, and he could hold on to the ray gun with his kung fu grip.
Right.
Wasn't that cool? And I'm like, there had to be something better. And I found like a Captain America shield that went with the Captain Action. I'm like, oh my God. So I started putting pieces together. And there's never been a time that like comic books or comic book related ephemera wasn't a part of my life.
Right.
When I was a kid, I loved the Spider-Man cartoon. The one from 1967 where he didn't have webs around here because it was too hard to draw in there.
Right.
That everyone makes fun of because they kept reusing all that stuff, and they make memes out of them now. But that wasn't around here. That wasn't in the New York area for a while. I had to go to Harrisburg. And I loved my grandmother, but I loved her even more because we would go to her house and I could watch it on her TV.
Right.
Oh, that's out
cool.
there in Harrisburg.
Right.
And so Spider-Man and the old Batman TV show were like my gateways. And I learned to read from comic books.
Okay.
And I learned how to do script from comic books. Like
Right.
I would be like Clark Kent in, script is Superman, and, Bruce Wayne is Batman, and, like Tonto is Tonto. I was like, there's no correspondence. We didn't have a secret identity. So kind of threw me off for that one. But the first one that I remember cementing my love for comic books was the Avengers 151. It's where I sat up and took notice and realized that there was true art to this. It wasn't just a bunch of guys like slopping stuff. They weren't coloring books. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was a story. These things had history. 151 told the entire Avengers history up to that point. So I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And they had little editor's notes back in the day where it's like, see, issue number 42, see issue 46, see issue 55. And I'm like, wow, there's a timeline that I could follow for this.
Wow. Right.
And it occurred to me that, wow, I can go back and I can go forward. I could do that with any comic book, which is really, and you can still do that to this day.
Right.
It's like getting into a soap opera.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And how old were you at that point when you realized that? I'm just curious. Were you talking like younger than 10 or above 10?
9.
Yeah, so 9. Around 10 years
I've
old.
been reading up to that point, but this was the one that like punched me in the face and said, this is something really cool. And then there was another one. It was All-Star Comics 62. And All-Star Comics was, I'm a Marvel and a DC fan. So, because there are people who are like, oh, I'm a Marvel zombie. It's like, why? Why limit yourself?
Yeah.
Right.
Why cut yourself off from anything, that gives you joy?
Right.
So, and this one was a year before. And the fact that had a history was awesome, the Avengers. But this one showed me that there is a multiverse out there. And All-Star Comics told the story of the Justice Society, which was on Earth 2, which the superheroes came out in 1938, and they got older. They progressed. And you had, there was a character named Power Girl, who's to this day still one of my favorites. She's got a really convoluted history. But back then, she was the Earth 2 doppelganger of Supergirl. And she was Kara Zor-El of Earth 2. And that clicked for me. I'm like, oh my God, this is same character, but different circumstances. I'm like, that is such a cool concept. And Michael Moorcock, who I read everything that he's done. I was a huge fan of his, and his multiverse saga. That's where you get like Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness, where you have different concepts of different characters. But DC did it first. So I was like, that is so cool.
Cool. For me, I don't know if you read comics. Did you read comics?
No.
Never. Not even Strawberry Shortcake or something like that? Is there a Strawberry Shortcake?
No, I don't think so.
There was a Strawberry Shortcake comic.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. See, what I remember...
I've been gypped.
You were gypped.
I was gypped.
For me, in New Brunswick, there was a newsstand right by the train station, right next to the XXX movie house, which I never went to the XXX movie house.
There was
a XXX movie house over there.
House.
Yeah, no, I always remember when we went to walk to the comics. I'm talking like I'm 8 years old, 9 years old, 10, and I remember looking at there's XXX here, but then we would go into the newsstand. But anyway, It's true. True story.
That's gonna make me a man now. Let's go.
Exactly. But for me, it was Top Dog and Heathcliff. That's what got me. It was Top Dog and Heathcliff, and Top Dog was just so cool. And I remember it was like every week I would go get a new issue, and I was like this excitement to see what's going to be this week now on Top Dog, you know.
Yeah.
And Heathcliff.
Star Comics, yeah.
Yeah, no, those were great. I tried to read Spider-Man and I tried to get into the superheroes, and it never got me. I don't know why. It just
you're
never
a Batman
did.
fan, though.
I am a Batman fan, but I'm a Batman movie fan, like Michael Keaton Batman. You know, that's my kind of Batman. Mm-hmm. And I guess, but not the early '50s Batman, because which is kind of fun to watch now, but that never. I kind of like missed that part, and I kind of grew up in the '80s, so yeah. I think Michael Keaton's Batman is what captivated me, you know, as far as that's concerned. But then again, I was more of a comic strip kind of guy, you know, reading the Sunday funnies. And
I love that.
Watching Peanuts and Blondie.
Calvin and Hobbes was my
Calvin
favorite.
and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, no, Calvin and Hobbes was great, weren't they?
That was my favorite.
But that's how I really fell in love with Snoopy and everything else. And I guess that goes back to me delivering newspapers, because I remember I was so excited because I would have the Sunday comics delivered to me on a Friday, because you would get the Friday, you would actually get the insert for Sunday comics. You would get that on a Friday. They would deliver it on a Friday. Why? I don't know why, but you got the inserts 2 days earlier, and I would open it up and I'm reading all the fucking comics like I'm a big shot 2 days prior to them actually releasing it, you know?
You were behind the scenes, Joe.
I guess so.
You got to see how the sausage was made.
Yeah.
Because they would drop off those Sunday messes the night before, right?
Yeah, it was either the night before or the Friday night. It was one or the other. It was either Friday night or Saturday night. That got dropped off to me. Absolutely. It was always a day or two before.
Because Sunday was the paper was huge.
Yes, it was.
You had the weekend section. You had everything that was like the weekend, what's happening in your town.
Yes.
You had the local news, all those puff pieces, and it was like this thick.
It was that thick, absolutely. And
you had to put that together, and they wouldn't
a lot of people only bought Sunday paper. So if I had 150 paper route, right? Sometimes on a Sunday I would have 190, 200 because 50 people just bought it for the weekend or just bought a paper for Sundays to get the coupons. So you would get those inserts, and you're right, they were that thick. So it got hard.
Yeah.
There was a point when I hit over 100 on my paper route. I used to convince my father to drive me around on a Sunday morning before church. Now I think about it. If my son asked me to do that before the auction, I'd kick his ass. I'd be like, no.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Our father's good.
You
right?
were spoiled. He was spoiled.
I know Dad's listening. Dad, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You spoiled this man.
I
Thank
just
you
really
so
thought about that right now. Holy shit!
Thank you for leaving me with
Sunday
this.
morning. He would drive around. I would walk, and he would just drive, and I would pick up the paper, deliver, you know, because we would go literally 8 blocks, 150, 160 houses. It was like an hour and a half project before he preached on Sunday. He must have hated that.
Of course he hated
I can't
it.
now. When we get
loved
done, I'm
you.
going to call him.
How weird is that? Not that he loved you, but how weird is? I mean, because you're saying to yourself, "There's no way that I would do this for my kids." You know,
I don't think I would. Maybe I would, but in my head, I'm going, "Fuck that." But I guess I would.
Well, I love my son so much, but he turned around and told his kids to go F themselves. I instilled that, love into him.
Yes. I don't know, because I get up early to take him the band into school, and I do it, even though I bitch about it. I'm not a morning person. I am kind of a morning person where, like, once I see sunlight, I'm up. It gets me up. I hate that. If there's any kind of light coming through the window, it wakes me up, and now I'm up. However, I think it's just having an alarm I can't stand, because I can get up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm good. But when I know I got to get up at 5:30 to take him the band, which I love you, Matt. I know you're listening too, but I'll take him. I hate those days. I hate getting up at 5:30, but I think it's the alarm. It's the alarm that gets me, right? I don't know.
I don't get up early.
Yeah, I know you don't get up early either. No.
Breakfast.
Yeah, I don't get up. Nope. When the
Breakfast,
kids came
it's
here.
in the freezer. Microwave.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done.
Oh, there's been a couple of, when we first got together, Joe was like, okay, I'm going to go back to work now. And I had the kids and I'm doing the morning school and I'm doing all this stuff. And one morning, Joey, I think, looked at me and was like, cereal for breakfast? And it was like, I'm sorry. What do I look like? Like, I'm not Martha Stewart. I'm not Superwoman. And you're lucky I'm even awake. Matt tried to wake me up once at like 6 o'clock in the morning, wondering where a certain toy was. And remember, I opened my eyes. He must have been tapping me, and I saw his cute little face. Matt was such a cute little kid.
He still is, too.
He still is.
Yes.
But I mean, we're talking like 2, 3, he was so adorable. And he says, do you know where my blah, 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 is? And I said, buddy, you got to look at me in the mornings like a flesh-eating zombie. I'm going to hurt. Like, I'm dangerous. Don't come near me. And he never did it again.
Yeah.
Never came back again. That was it. That was all it took. He may be a little frightened of me to this day. I'm not.
All right, and that's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
They're not going to wake you up. There's no way.
No way.
I already know that. Anytime, if that door's closed, they know you're sleeping. That ain't happening. But I'm a bear too. Like when I get up at 5:30 in the morning, I am like Joey tries to talk to me because our oldest works at Earl Naval Base and he has to be at work for 7. So he's up at 5 a.m. out the door by quarter to 6 usually. He's out the door. So when I have to get up at 5:30, I get up, he's like, "Hi, Dad. How are you? Everything's great." I'm like, "Don't even talk to me. I don't even look at me. I need my coffee."
You're grunting. Yeah. You're not even talking to him.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, caveman.
But you're not.
No, I don't function in the morning. Don't talk to me for about 20 minutes. This guy sometimes will try to pepper me with work questions.
Yeah, no,
and
I've learned not to do that.
The rule in the house now is if I don't have pants on, don't talk to me.
And that's a tough one.
Don't talk until pants.
Sometimes something's in my head for like an hour before she gets up. Like, should we do this with the auction? And I'm waiting for her to wake up. Like I'm waiting for Christian to come here at a certain time, and I'm like a puppy dog. I'm like a puppy dog looking over you, and I go, "Hey,
see, Christian, I get it too. I get it too.
Hey, what do you think about this?" And you go, I can't talk right now.
Answer that.
No,
I'm a bitch in the morning.
But yet I've been thinking about it for like 2 hours straight. I got to ask you this question right now. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, Heathcliff, Garfield, the Sunday comics. Yep. I'm surprised you didn't read comics because I remember going back then. They had Strawberry Shortcake. They had the Care Bears. I think.
Didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, they had the Care Bears.
Listen, you have to understand. We grew up very poor, so there was a lot that my mom didn't want me to know.
Right.
Because she didn't want me to ask for it. Like every time Metuchen would have that fair right where the old Franklin School was.
Right.
And there were years where she'd be, picking me up from daycare on her way home from work, and she'd go the long way to the house because she didn't want me to see it. Because if I didn't see it, I wouldn't ask her for it.
Right.
When I tell you we didn't have money, we didn't have money. So there was a lot that was kept for me. And I got my aunt's hand-me-downs.
See, I didn't get hand-me-downs. I guess I
got my aunt's hand-me-downs toys, just like you're talking about. I'm playing with these toys, and now people that are, 10 years or so older than me are like, "Oh, I had that when I was a kid brand new." I'm like, I had that. Oh, God, it was all hand-me-downs, from my aunt. But... I read the Sunday funnies, I liked, and then I had a Calvin and Hobbes book at one point, like with all the...
Bloom County, sure.
Doesn't that count?
I had shiny new toys.
Yeah, you had shiny new toys.
I remember going every time we would go to, I would be glad that my father's sick because we would go to the pharmacy, and when we went to the pharmacy, I got a Matchbox card because on the counter there was this rotating Matchbox card thing, and you would go, "Oh, I'll take number 11," and then they would put it out and put it in a little box and give it to me.
Oh no, my mom.
That's what I remember.
My mom can tell you stories about dragging me out of places, screaming my head off because we couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford it.
I remember going into Atari. Do you remember Atari when it first came out? They had offices. Oh, anyway, by us there was an Atari office in Somerset. Maybe it was their headquarters or something. And we went, and I was a little kid, and I'm in there playing, and my dad says, "Time to go." And I was like, okay, one more game, and I'm playing Adventure or something like that. Remember Adventure? Do you remember Adventure on Atari? Yeah, I'm playing Adventure or something, and then I go, okay, and I turn around and I go back, and my father left me there, and I was like, I don't know, I was young, man. I was like 6 years old or 7 years old, and he left me there, but he didn't really leave me.
Yeah, he's probably right at the door.
He was in the corner of the parking lot. He was making it a point to prove, like, hey, and he said, I bawled my fucking eyes out, and he said he never did that again. He felt fucking bad as shit, but I probably deserved it because I didn't come out.
Well, I'm sitting here like watching the two. Maureen's like, we had nothing. And my wife grew up poor too, so I get it. And I mean, my hand-me-downs, I will never complain about them. But Joe's like, so I was sitting there in the Atari headquarters, and like sitting there like,
exactly.
Oh, it's like, well, my father used to take me to these places where, Atari and television. I had to make a choice.
We didn't even have a television. Not for a long time.
I had a TV in my room. I'm sorry.
You should grab like half of
it. Was black and white. It wasn't color. I had the black and white version, but then I did get color. But then I did also get a phone in my room when I was like 12, so I had a phone too. And my father gave me the master bedroom, so I was spoiled. I guess I was, but I had a rough beginning. He was helping me out through my rough beginning with my real mother. So it was.
I understand that, but I had a rough beginning too, and nobody came and gave me a master bedroom and a TV I did have a TV when I was in middle school, a little tiny. I finally got one in my room. It was a tiny little thing. No,
I wish people were trying to buy my love. I mean, for God's sake.
I'm sure Jules will say the same thing, though. We didn't know any different. No. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything.
Right.
It's not like nowadays where everything you're missing out on in the pop culture world, of what's hot and what's new and all this stuff, Back in the 80s, 70s, we didn't know that you were really missing out on anything until you hit a certain age, and then you started to realize.
I don't know. I always wanted to. I always dreamt. I had this super dream of. Remember, they had a Toys R Us sweepstakes, and you would win. Like you can go in with a carriage and just cover the shelves. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you remember that?
I remember that, and I'm waiting for the story to go. And my dad bribed the guy, and I got to do it once a month.
Nice.
I got to do it once a month.
Oh, I didn't have to win the sweepstakes. He just gave me the card. I'm joking.
No, he's done that with the kids. He takes them Toys R Us.
He's done that with the grandchildren,
and they pile the card in, and there I am in the background going, and we're going to donate all this to the poor, you spoiled little brats. Like, I love you, but we're not doing this.
But my father got joy out of doing that with the kids. They still talk about it. To the day, the kids still talk about that. But yes, when he would pick up the kids from school, he would take them to Target. That was the big thing.
That went on for years.
Shopping spree. That's what I was trying to.
A shopping spree. Yes.
Shopping spree. You got the shopping spree.
But this is why I'm in the business. I have the passion of a shopping spree every other week at our auction. It has led to this. That's exactly it. So back to Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was the first story that you remember, you said, or the Avengers 151. I got it right, I think.
But comic books have always been a part of like I said, all my brothers, I got all their old comic books. And one of my brothers, my father had to buy a stack of comic books like that thick because I 3 or 4 years old. I couldn't read yet. 3. I think it was 3. And I went in and I cut out all the panels that I really liked. and I hate to say this, it wasn't even panels from the comic book themselves. They were the panels from ads for like sweatshirts. So I'm cutting out.
Right.
I'm like, I like this is awesome. I can't get the sweatshirts, and I'm there with my mom's sewing scissors, which this big.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm like cutting it out. 3 years old, unsupervised with scissors. cutting them out. My brother comes in. He's like, "What are you doing? They're not even mine." So my father had to go and pay like $3 for a pile, which back then was like $3. Well, there goes Christmas for you.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah, no, that's a lot of money.
yeah. Well,
Now,
I had 5 older brothers, so I probably did a bunch of stuff to my other brothers that they had to pay for. So
100%.
yeah, and I ruined these comic books, which now, honest to God, would probably be in the area of $2,000.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now, do you have the same story that a lot of people have, where your mom got rid of the comics you had when you moved out?
No, my mom knew not to go into my room. So yeah,
Okay.
she knew not to go into any of. She was the lone woman in a house full of 7 men,
Wow.
6 boys, and my father. So
Oh my goodness, she was outnumbered.
Wow, 6 brothers. So where do you fall in that?
I'm the
Oldest,
baby.
youngest?
I'm the
You are
baby.
absolutely the baby.
yeah,
Wow.
so yeah.
No kidding.
I mean,
Wow,
baby
6
with
kids.
gray hair. So yeah.
I'm the baby too.
Wow. That's unbelievable. So
Joe's
6.
clearly an only child.
Yeah, no, I'm an only child. Thank God. I prefer to be
He's
an
like,
only
thank
child.
God I don't have to share any of my stuff with
No,
brothers.
I'd be pissed off all the time, man.
When we going on
I
shopping
get it. I mean,
sprees, that's
look
for
at
damn sure.
the 3 kids. Look at they fight all the time.
All
Oh
the
my
time. It's
God.
typical siblings. He gets so mad. I'm like, it's siblings.
I used to get really mad. I didn't understand it. Why didn't anyone share
Oh.
their shit? But
Speaking
I
of,
guess
does he know we're talking about? Matt's calling me.
Maddie is calling. That's
Should
funny
I
as shit.
answer?
Nah.
Are you calling me
Nah.
adorable? I'm
Hey,
calling me
he's-
adorable.
He's dying. He's dying to come
He's
on the
dying
podcast.
to be on the
He really
podcast.
is dying to come on. I hear. He's my biggest fan, which I love him to death for that.
Yeah.
He's gonna come on. I'm gonna get him on. I promised
Ah.
him before the end of the 2nd season I'll have him on. But I keep telling him you have to do some kind of work, and then we could talk about the work that you did at the auction. So
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Nah, he is a
He's
very
a very
good
good
kid. He just bought a guitar from the guitar sale actually that we just had.
That's awesome.
Doesn't know how to play, but he bought the 2nd nicest guitar that was in there. So he's got rich blood in him, I guess. I guess he has blood like me. I guess I passed that down.
I guess
to him.
I wonder where he got it from.
Exactly.
Not from me.
But he bought this beautiful baby blue guitar and he got an amp. It really didn't cost him much because the electric guitar brought $110 and I think he paid $30 for an amp. Has no idea how to play. Went upstairs, got on YouTube, figured out all these different things, and he was playing some stuff. I can't believe it. It's pretty amazing, actually, the things you could do these days, you know? Unbelievable what you can find on YouTube.
Yep. But you guys have something cool coming up at the stash.
Yeah, right? You do have something cool coming up at the stash.
We've got a couple of things. We've got this Saturday is Free Comic Book Day. Comic Book Day, and we've got pardon me, James Spence authentication is going to be in. So if you got something that has been signed but wasn't verified, we can help you out there. And I've got some Kevin stuff that I can't announce just yet. It's coming down the pike. This will actually Free Comic Book Day will be gone by the time.
You say it'll be over.
But that's all right. They could still come in and it'll be like, "Where's Free Comic Day?" You say, "Oh,
you
next
listen.
year."
Yeah, next year. Come on down."
Yeah, it's like I said, it's in 11 months.
Right. But yeah, no, make sure you check that. No, there's always something
There's
happening
always cool
great
stuff
at the
going on
Secret
at the
Stash. So make sure you
We try to
definitely
have
check that
a lot
out.
of signings. We whenever Kevin's in town, we do that. Kevin is out on tour. I think it's probably by the time this drops, the last leg of the Dogma tour, the Second Coming. So
Yes.
I think it's Dogma Rising is the name.
Something like that. Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
He's wrapping it up over at the Smod Castle. So Smod Castle.
Cool. Well, good. Well, it has been an hour. Can you believe it?
No.
I can't believe
Goes
it
too
either.
fast.
We talked too much about toys, and you got me. I'm spoiled.
How spoiled you are?
Yeah, I guess so.
We're peeling back the onion that is Joe Bodnar.
Episode by episode.
I should, just for the sake of fairness, not mispronounce your last name.
Yeah.
Joe Bodnar. So there you go.
Bood.
You can call me Joe Bodnar.
Most
Bodnar.
people say, how do
Bodnar.
they smoke?
They call me Bob Bodnar.
Yeah.
Bob Bodnar.
Kevin Smith kept calling him Bob.
Yeah, Kevin Smith did call me Bob. He did call me Bob.
So,
but
so there you go.
That was a common thing. A lot of people used to call me Bob, and I used to say, I don't care what you call me, as long as you sign a contract, you give me your stuff to sell.
Yeah.
I'm golden. I'm fine.
Yeah. And folks, don't forget to get your stuff over to Joe so you can sell it. If you got comic books, I'll probably be going through them. Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the deal. He is our expert, and he's good at it. He's the best.
The best.
The absolute best.
You guys are
so we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today. We really do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And now I have to get an Avengers. I already forgot.
151.
151.
You know what? I'm
That
going to
Irish
gift you
spring.
because I have an Avengers 151 that is yours from now.
No, thank you.
see?
I'll read it and I will see. Get into
Great.
the
He'll
brain
get into comics,
of
and then he'll
Mike.
start collecting comics.
Oh, just what he needs. Another thing to collect.
Another thing.
I like collecting the moolah. Anyway, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Remember, you can follow us at Bodnars auction.com. You can follow us at what
All
else?
the things.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
YouTube.
I need it.
All the things.
All the things.
All the
Anywhere.
things.
Instagram, Facebook.
Book.
Thank you.
YouTube.
Amazon. Bodnars Bids and Banter at gmail.com. Did I get that right?
Nope.
Oh, shit.
Bodnars Biz and Banter podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, if you have a story, send it out to us. We appreciate it. Hey, guys, I appreciate it. We're signing off. I am, once again, Joe Bodnar.
Maureen.
Bodnar. I know. And
I am Michael
the Mike.
Zapcic because you can't pronounce my last name. There we go.
Thank you, and have yourself a wonderful day. Bye, guys. Appreciate it very much. Have a great day. Thanks for watching Bodnars Bid and Banter. Remember, we're here every other week with new episodes, new stories, and wonderful, wonderful times. Make sure you check us out, bodnarsauction.com, YouTube, Facebook, all the different platforms where you watch this podcast or listen to this podcast now. Now, once again, thanks, and have a wonderful day.